All right, everyone, welcome to the briefing. Today, we're going to talk about the most important part of any Python project, and it happens before you even think about writing code. We're talking about the setup. This is all about building that professional foundation, and this is your pre-flight checklist. And this, right here, is the core idea for today. Think about it. Preparation isn't just some boring first step. It literally dictates whether your project will succeed or fail. Getting this stuff right from the very beginning is going to save you so many headaches down the line.
Now, of course, there's a modern way to kick things off. You could just go to an AI, feed it a really detailed prompt, and get back a pretty decent setup plan. And you know what? That's a really powerful way to generate a custom roadmap for yourself.
But, and this is a big but, that only gets you the what. This briefing, right here, is different. We're not doing AI slop. This is the human, expert-validated guide. We are going to go way beyond a simple checklist to really dig into the why behind every single one of these decisions. That's the context an AI just can't give you. This is the staff engineer's perspective. So here's our game plan. We'll run through the checklist, then we'll lay the physical foundation with your hardware. After that, we'll install the core toolkit, get comfortable with the command line, and finally, and this is key, we'll adopt the professional habits that really make a difference.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the pre-flight checklist itself. Think of these as the 10 absolute must-haves you've got to sort out before you can really get started.
Here it is, the whole 10-point list. Now, they're all super important, but let's just zoom in on that very first one because honestly, it's the domino that knocks over all the others, your primary goal. What are you actually trying to do? Are you building a website, crunching massive data sets, writing a few simple scripts? Your answer to that question changes everything that comes next. All right, moving on to Section 2, we're talking about the bedrock, the literal physical and digital foundation for everything we're going to build, your computer and its operating system. Look, your hardware sets the physical limits for what you can achieve. The CPU, that's the brain. RAM, that's your active workspace. And storage is all about how fast you can move. And here's the real pro tip. If you're doing anything with data, you want to pour your money into RAM. We're talking 16 gigs minimum. It's often way more important than having the fastest CPU on the market. Oh, and an SSD, a solid-state drive? Yeah, that's completely non-negotiable in this day and age. Next up, the operating system. For the longest time, the developer world has leaned heavily on macOS and Linux because they're based on Unix, which gives you this incredibly powerful command line right out of the box. But let's be clear, Windows is not playing catch-up anymore. Thanks to something called the Windows Subsystem for Linux, or WSL, you can get a truly first-class, powerful development environment on a Windows machine. The game has changed. Okay, I want you to look at this number and burn it into your brain. 4 gigabytes. This number is a brick wall. It's a hard limit you cannot get around. And here's why that number is so critical. A 32-bit system. I don't care if you have 128 gigs of RAM installed, it can only use 4 gigabytes of it. That's it. So, for any serious work today, especially in data science or machine learning, a 64-bit operating system and a 64-bit version of Python aren't just a nice-to-have, they are an absolute fundamental requirement. So our foundation is solid. Now we can move on to Section 3. Let's actually install the software we're going to be using every single day. We're talking about Python itself and the place where you'll actually write your code. Let's get really specific for a second. Your Python code, that .py file, it's just a plain old text file. It can't do anything by itself. The magic happens with the Python interpreter. That's the engine that reads your script, translates it into a language the computer gets, and actually makes your code run. And it is so important that you install a modern version. We're talking Python 3 from an official source. Okay, next up is something that trips up almost every single beginner. Have you ever typed Python into your terminal and gotten that dreaded command not found error? Yep. The culprit is almost always the path variable. Just think of it like your computer's contact list. If Python's phone number isn't in there, your computer has no idea how to call it. Getting your path set up correctly, it's a rite of passage. So where are you going to write your code? You've basically got two camps. On one side, you have simple text editors. They force you to learn everything the hard way, which builds an incredibly strong foundation. On the other side, you have IDEs,
integrated development environments, which are these powerhouses that help you with everything from catching errors to finishing your sentences. They can make you learn faster, for sure, but just be careful you don't become so dependent on them that you can't function without them. Which brings us nicely to section 4, the command line. And let me be perfectly clear about this. I don't care if you spend all day inside a fancy IDE. Being fluent in the command line is absolutely non-negotiable for a professional developer. Period. It's how you're going to run things, manage your projects, and use a million other essential tools. You don't have to become a wizard overnight, but you have to know the basics of how to move around. CD to change where you are, LS or DIR to see what's around you, and PWD to figure out your exact location. This is your map and your compass. You gotta know how to use them. And here's how you put that to use. Look, being a pro starts with being organized. Please, I'm begging you, do not save your scripts to your desktop. Make a folder for every project. Use CD to get inside that folder, then create your first .py file. This tiny bit of discipline will save you from absolute chaos down the road.
And that brings us to our final and I think most important section. This is about adopting the habits of a professional. These are the things that prevent disasters and really separate the hobbyists from the engineers. Okay, if you only remember one thing from this whole briefing, make it this. You must use a virtual environment for every single project you work on. Think of it like a clean, isolated bubble. Inside that bubble is your project, its specific version of Python, and all its libraries. This one habit single-handedly prevents a nightmare we call dependency hell. That's when Project A needs version 1 of a library and Project B needs version 2, and your whole system just implodes.
So you've got your bubble. How do you get stuff into the bubble? The answer is pip. This is Python's package manager, and it's your key to this incredible universe of free third-party code. The command is pip install, and you always, and I mean always, run it when your project's virtual environment is activated. So let's wrap this up. All this time you spend on a proper setup, it isn't a chore, it's not busy work. It is the single best investment you can possibly make. A solid foundation isn't a cage. It's the launchpad that lets you go higher and faster and build more amazing things. You've put in the work. The pre-flight checklist is complete. Your environment is clean, it's professional, and it's ready to go. So the only question left is, what are you going to build first?